What's up, everybody? So, I'm about to do a quick video, based off of lettering, because I had a couple people ask me, like, "Hey, bro, like, how should I do this? How do I do this?" So I'm gonna do a very, very simple, like, step by step, on how to practice it, just so you more or less know what to look for when you're doing it. And hopefully, this helps anybody that's learning or that's trying to learn. But I'm just gonna show you the very
I'm just gonna do the guidelines. Pretty much usually what I do, I'll just do 3 simple little lines. Pretty much just like this. So today is Monday, good habit. Boom. Now you know what to write on here. This top line is gonna be your very top for your capital letters. This middle line is for the lowercase letters. All right, so boom. Now I got my basic structural foundation of my letters. Now what you want to go do is try to keep everything super simple. Like don't try to go all crazy at the very beginning because you could always add that later on. So like if you look at here, it's just very simple. And to make your letters like a little bit thicker, all you got to do is just kind of just follow along with what's already there. And when you do that, it gives your letters a little bit more structure. It makes them stand out a little bit more. Like on this part of the end, I love to let my letters like flow downwards. I don't know why, I just do. And it's like even right here too, it's not going to be perfect because I'm doing it with a pencil for the meantime. And just make sure like everything kind of just has its own little flow. Another thing that's most important is these bottom loops right here. You kind of want to keep everything similar. And bam. And then usually too, like if there's a gap like this, usually sometimes like you could bring this part of the O up, go like that, you know what I'm saying? Or you can just add a little loop that goes this way to kind of like fill in this gap right here. You could do the same thing a little bit from the top of the N. You could do a little bit right there on the A. You just give it a little bit more of a, how would you say, like a little bit more style, I guess. The top part of this, of the D, you can bring it down a little bit. And then as well, like right here on the M, you can just bring it out like that. If you want to make it a little bit thicker, you can. That's way too much, but you can bring it out like this. Bring this one in there. If you want to add another one, you can. You could do the same thing from right here at the bottom. Like this part, kind of make it to where it's more sharper, to where it's like not as thick as this one, but come down here to make it nice and sharp. So when it comes back around, and you can add the little dots at the end of the letters, give it a little more function. It's not really too, I wouldn't say it's difficult, but it is good to understand the flow of your letters. Like if you see right here too, the bottom of this N comes down right here, and then the Y is way down here. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna put this line, and then I'm gonna shorten this one up a little bit. Just get rid of that so it doesn't get confusing for anybody. And I'm just gonna bring it down right here. And there you go. And now it's pretty much, for the most part, kind of uniform. And then even right here too, with the top of this D, you could leave it like this and then bring it down and around. But usually too, what will look a little bit better is if you kind of just scoop this out like this And then start from this bottom corner and bring it up. Go again, bring another one, and then have the one that comes across. And this is like your very, very basic like style of doing it. And then even too, let's say you wanted to make the bottom have a little more flow to underneath. Like since we got action right up in here, we have some action right here, but there's like a slight nothing right here and then nothing right here as well. So what you could do is bring this down a little bit more and just let it flow. You know, like don't be worried. It's like let it be like, you know, just do it kind of sloppy. You don't have to be perfect every single time. And it's like even right here too, you can add a little bit more and then boom. Now that's there. Now you have a little bit of flow right here. Another thing that you can do is bring this M down a little bit longer. And when you bring it down a little bit longer, you could extend this whole little pocket that's right here in this area, but that's all like up to you. And then so let's say we bring this one down. I'm gonna push a little bit harder so it's a little bit darker. Bring this one in. I'm gonna make this one a little bit darker too. And it's like boom. Now that's there. And what you can do as well is come off of this one, loop it this way, do it again, loop it the other way. Just kind of just find a little flow that you like or that makes you feel like it looks good. And you can add a whole bunch of stuff right here too, but I wouldn't really say it's necessary. But you can if you want to. I'm not too sure. I don't really like doing that type of stuff, but that's something you could do. And then it's like you're always going to have this one right here in the middle that's going to be a little bit thicker, kind of balance it out. I'd rather make this one longer just so it has more of this shape to it, kind of fills in that pocket, fills in that space so it doesn't look like too weird. And then right here too, you can even bring this one down if you want to, just to kind of balance it out. And then bam, and then it's like now you kind of have all this structure in there. And it's like all these swirls and stuff like that, you don't have to do that at the very beginning. You could do it at the end, so that way you could see if you actually like the way your letters are sitting. And then it's like if you want to add more to your letters, then it's like you could always add these little points right here. It's almost like little, what'd you call it, just like little spikes. And you could always add stuff like that, and if you could see it, it just gives it a little more like something to look at. And then another thing I love doing is like on one side of the letter, you make them like thicker. I'm not sure if you can see it on the video, but it kind of gives it way more structure to the letter. So now when you look at it, it just stands out so much more, like just off like something so simple. And it's like even like on your M, you do the same. Oh shit, I forgot. See, that's why I use pencil. I'll be forgetting. So anyways, bring this one down, make it match the line that was there. And you know what I'm saying? Like now you can kind of more or less see like what I'm talking about. It just makes the letter stand out that much more. And then if you were to add like the extra little things that I was talking about, it just helps the letter stand out a little bit more too. And if you want to add these little spikes in here, then it's like you see how it stands out right there. So if you were to fill in every single triangle, it'll just stand out that much more. And then wherever you put that one too, just make sure everything kind of just flows together. And once you do that, now for the most part, majority of everything will kind of look a little bit more uniform. And there's still like so much more you could do to letters. So like, let me see. I'm gonna stop this real quick, and then I'm gonna grab my Sharpies, and then like I'm gonna go back and actually like detail it kind of so you could really see what I'm talking about. So hold up. I grab my Sharpies. You don't need nothing fancy, bro. You can do all this shit with regular Sharpies. You could do it with pens if you don't got a Sharpie. But what I'm gonna do is like I'm kind of just gonna finalize what I think looks cool and just go based off of that. And just take your time. There's no rush. You don't need a rush or anything like that. Just make every single little line count as much as possible. And even till you don't have to directly follow what's there, main reason why is because you might see that little angle while you're doing it that actually looks a lot better than what's originally like drawn on there. And just take your time. I'm over here trying to sound like Bob Ross and shit. But, just have fun with it. Just enjoy yourself. And if it gets to the point where your finger or your hand gets like uncomfortable, then just stop where you are. You shouldn't do that when you're tattooing, but it's like just try to find all the way into a point to where you're comfortable enough to stop. With me, I kind of like how this one loops up this way, so I'm gonna put this one in. And you just gotta kind of understand too, like where your letter starts and where it stops at. Like if you look right here, I kind of messed up. But at the end of the day, it's like we all mess up at some point in life or whatever. It's just like when you take your time doing it, you just allow yourself to just flow way more better with whatever it is that you're doing. Just keep it nice and simple to help yourself understand everything else. And it's like if you understand how to do this portion, then it's like you're good. You don't gotta worry about like too much. You just gotta, what else can you do to your letters that'll give it more style, more detail. And that all just comes with time and just doing your research and just constantly just practicing. Look at other people's profiles or whatever it is that they're doing and try to like relate that to what it is that you're doing. It's like, usually a lot of people will sit there and be like, oh, you're just jocking somebody or whatever. But it's like at the end of the day, somebody learned from somebody. Like I come from doing graffiti and stuff like that. So to me, it's like you're always going to have that person that you looked up to as a kid or whatever. You'd be like, oh man, this dude is super sick. Fucking, like I want to be like this dude. And there's nothing wrong with that. It's like with me for the longest time, like I looked up to Bug, still do to this day, RIP, Norm, like I look up to all those fools, mainly too, because it's like, started from graffiti and they started tattooing, and that made me like, damn, bro, I could low-key possibly do that one day too. Like this right here, I ain't gonna lie, I don't like how this one came out right here. But it's alright, I'm just showing y'all more or less like what would kind of make sense to me, what could possibly help you in the future, maybe. I don't know, like this right here looks super sloppy, but it's all right. You win some, you lose some. And then I always love adding these little things. I don't know why that shit is like super old school, but I just love the way that shit be looking. I was like, you don't want to add too much. Like this part right here, I'm gonna have to make that thicker too. Add a little thing to that. This is far beyond perfect. I'm low-key rushing myself, even though I'm kind of telling you guys not to rush yourself. But main reason why is because I don't want to make a super long video and it's gonna be like pointless. But to somebody that's actually like really interested in this and is really trying to understand, and this will kind of give you an estimate of like how you could do it, you know, but in your own possible way, I would say. And it's like even too like earlier when I was showing you with the pencil, make one side thicker. It's like I'm gonna go ahead and do that right now. And this, for the most part, should make my letters stand out a little bit more. Helps them stand out, makes them look better, kind of gives it more structure. Lets your letters hold up. And it's like, yeah, I could have used the thicker one this whole time. But, you know, some people aren't at that point yet. Some people prefer to do it this way. You know, it's like everything right here is just giving it that little structure that it could need. And it's like I'm saying too, my bad, it's super sloppy. It's like I'm not trying to make a super long video and bore anybody out or anything like that, but I'm just trying to just show a little bit of like basics of how you could possibly do something. And just like bam, like that's in there. I did all that. I mean, it kind of makes it stand out a little bit more. Add these little points that I was talking about. And this right here is just one thing that you can do. You don't have to, you can. It's all personal preference or however you're feeling or whatever somebody kind of prefers. And boom, it's just like that. You know what I mean? Like it's not perfect, bro, but it's like it's simple. You know, it's like all this right here. I could have did this so much more cleaner, but it's just so you understand like a almost like a directional flow of how to do it. This part up here, it's like this part should have came up. You know what I'm saying? Have a little bit way better flow than that. It's like, cause this just looks like it's super straight. It doesn't really have a full flow curve to it. So it's like what I did was I just made these a little bit thicker. This just looks like trash, but it's like I said, I'm just gonna keep it simple. Right now what I'm doing, I'm just erasing the back parts just so you can kind of see the inside of the letters a little bit more. So now it's pretty much like you can see like majority of it, like for the most part, like fairly clear, I would say. But all this is mainly so you can have like the most idea. You know, hopefully this has helped or it is helping you. I mean, you know, my bad that I don't got my tripod or anything like that, so I'm doing this pretty damn ghetto right now. But I mean, if it does help you or it is helping, you know, let me know. You know, even too, like, even if I'm doing this so basic and you feel like there's an easier way to do this or something like that, show me, bro. Like, I'm not tripping. You know, or let me know, like, what I could have did that's even more basic, or if I'm doing too damn much myself. You know, I'm not scared of like critiques or anything like that. You know, it just like that's the only way you get better is if somebody tells you what you're doing wrong. Like right now, I just feel like I'm already adding way too damn much, but you know, this just helps out somebody some way, somehow. And it's like if you want to shade the inside of the letters, let me see. Let's start like right over here. My bad. All I'm doing is just shading the inside. there. You got that simple little fade looking effect to your letters. You could always make the very bottoms a lot more darker. That's naturally how you would do it if you're like actually like shading. And I mean, there you go, right there. And another thing you can do that'll help out too. Let me just add this little piece right here real quick. All right, now what I'm doing is like the outer and inner kind of border. And all you kind of do is just keep a cool little distance from the letters. Just kind of follow them. You don't have to get like too precise in there unless you really, really want to. But like I said, I'm just trying to do this like super basic and simple. That's why it's like if you see me, it's like I am low-key moving kind of fast, to be honest. I'm just putting this in here. If you're wondering like what this border's for, whoops. It's pretty much so like if you ever want to do like shading around it, you can, and you could just go based off of that. But for the most part, you just keep it nice and simple enough to where it's still like legible. It's not too much so you're, to anybody else.